everybody. Just doing another one of these little short cooking videos. This time I'm making crumpets. The first time I've ever made crumpets. I love the things, but I tend to buy them commercially made. But recently I bought 4 metal rings, which you can use for either making crumpets or English muffins. And I just finished making my first batch of crumpets. I'm fairly well satisfied with them, I guess. And I thought I'd show you the process that I followed. But first, a little look at the finished product here. A nice cup of tea and a split crumpet, toasted, butter and a bit of strawberry jam on top. Anyway, stay tuned and I'll show you how I did this. We'll start here by going over the ingredients and equipment required. I bought the metal rings to make the crumpets with, but I have been reading online that a lot of people are using tin cans with the top and bottom cut out. Like, I think that would be roughly the size of a tuna fish can, so that would work quite well. A set of 4 of them was $9.95. The ingredients I'm using are all measured in the metric measuring system, but below the video I will put both recipes, metric and the English system. So I'll just go over briefly here what I have. 7 grams of active dry yeast. I'm using the Rapid Rise dry yeast. 60 milliliters of warm tap water, just tepid tap water. 4 grams of sugar. 80 milliliters of warm milk, same idea, just tepid milk. I put it in the microwave, not 80 grams, I say grams, 80 milliliters of milk. I put it in the microwave for a minute and now it's cooling back down. It was a little too hot, but by the time I'm ready to use it, it'll be just tepid. 55 grams of melted butter, and that is roughly 2 tablespoons. That gets divided, half gets used in the batter and the other half used to grease the molds and the griddle. 1 fresh egg from my coop. 125 grams of all-purpose flour and 3 grams of salt. And that's the ingredients. Just a second here, we'll put this all together. Well, to get started, you do the standard thing, I guess, for making any bread. You get started with your yeast. You add the water, the yeast, and the sugar. I've had to be careful and taste here. I couldn't remember which was the sugar and which was the salt, but that is the sugar. Just mix that lightly. Try not to get it all over the bowl there. And that rests for 5 minutes before we go on to the next step. Well, it's been 5 minutes and the yeast is proofing, so it is good viable yeast. At this time you add the other ingredients bit by bit. First the milk. Tablespoon of the melted butter, the fresh egg, all of the flour, and the salt, which has gone and got damp in the little bit of time that it's been out. that is the crumpet batter. It now rests for 45 minutes before you start using it to make your crumpets, and I'm going to transfer it back into this container that I had the flour in, because this container is a bread proofing bucket. Which has a snap-on lid. Makes it really easy to cover things up. You proof it for 45 minutes in a warm place. I use my oven with the light turned on. From previous experience, you have to be careful that you have an oven like mine with one light bulb, I guess. Recommended that previously on one of my bread videos, and a friend who follows in Ireland did the same, but the Irish oven has 2 light bulbs and there was too much heat. It killed the yeast. So anyway, this will be 45 minutes in my oven, which is being heated with 1 utility light bulb. Well, they don't call me old Butterfingers for nothing here. I've already buttered 3 of the rings, but you butter the inside of each of these rings so the batter doesn't stick, I guess is the idea. And then they go on a griddle, which is heated just moderately, low heat, so that nothing will burn. I'm using a cast iron frying pan. The 4 rings just seem to fit into it nicely, so I decided to use that. Heavy bottomed pan disperses the heat nicely too. And this is the batter after 45 minutes, and it has more than doubled in size, so I guess that's about right. I'll knock it down a bit here. This batter is supposed to be enough to make 8, so that's 2 batches. You put 3 tablespoons of batter in each one of the molds. And then it cooks for 7 minutes at low heat on one side, or until a lot of bubbles come to the top, whichever happens first. And then you remove the rings and turn them. I won't force you to watch me fill all 4 molds. I'll come back when they're ready to be turned. Well, it's been 7 minutes now, and as you can see, some of them are showing quite a few bubbles on top, which is what a good crumpet looks like, at least the commercially bought ones that I've had in the past. It also appears like I got more batter in some of them than I did in others, so this one here has got considerably more batter and the bubbles didn't make it all the way to the surface, I guess. Remove the hot rings. Place them off to one side so that they will cool. Ready to do batch number 2 here. It says that this will make 8. I don't think I've got enough batter left to do 8. As I say, I think I used too much in some of them, but anyway, live and learn. Oops. If anybody knows where you can get a spatula like this, let me know. I almost think I bought this in a yard sale years ago, and it's starting to break. It's the best spatula I've ever had. Well, there they are. You just leave them for a minute or 2 on the other side to lightly brown, and I'll show you when I take them out of the pan here. Well, they've had a couple of minutes on the other side. Take them out. And on a whole, I think they look pretty good. This is the one that I got too much batter on. I think it's kind of doughy. The other ones look like a decent crumpet to me. You can serve them warm, hot right out of the pan, or let them cool and serve them toasted. great with butter and homemade preserves or marmalade. The butter and the preserves go down into the holes. They're very good. With these same molds, you can also make English muffins. Those are baked rather than grilled. So I'm sure that when I get around to trying the English muffin recipe, there'll be another video. Thank you very much for watching.